And Food and Beverage Hygiene Self-Regulations Manual. Chapter 2. Food and Beverage Hygiene Management. It is divided into 6 sections: personnel management, prevention of food poisoning, building facilities management, equipment and tools management, raw materials management, preparation and quality management. All sections can be found in pages 11 to 42 of the manual. Firstly is the personnel management, primarily to manage the hygiene behaviors of practitioners. It includes health monitoring, personal hygiene requirements, personal behavior management, as well as education and training. Prescribed in health monitoring, newcomers to the food industry should first pass the health examination of a medical institution before being hired. The employer should take the initiative to undergo a health examination at least once a year. The physical examination item for food practitioners should include hepatitis A, hand-skin disease, rash, abscess, trauma, tuberculosis, typhoid, or other diseases that may cause food contamination. In addition, if there are other diseases that may cause food contamination during the period of illness or infection, the person should take the initiative to inform the person in charge of the site not to engage in work that comes into contact with food, and should be transferred into a job that is not in contact with food. For instance, red rashes on the hands or arms. In personal hygiene requirements, a common mistake is that employees do not wear work clothes and hats during work. It should be worn as the right picture. Employees should wear neat work clothes, hat, shoes, and socks, while keeping them clean, and wear the mask when necessary. Another common mistake is that employees wear hand accessories during work. It should be noted that employees do not wear heavy makeup or wear jewelries, such as rings, bracelets, earrings, watches, or necklaces. The correct one should be as shown in the right picture, where the hand accessories are removed or are covered by gloves during work. In addition, it is also necessary to pay attention to the practitioners during the work processes. Do not wear nail polish or wear false nails. Nails should be short and kept clean. When there is a hand wound, it must be completely bandaged and then covered with impervious gloves that must be kept clean. Increase the frequency of glove replacements based on the degree of soiling and wear and tear. For more information of personal hygiene requirements, please refer to pages 13 and 14 of the manual. In personal behavior management, food practitioners should not smoke, chew betel nuts or gum, eat or drink, or do other behaviors that may contaminate food when working. In personal behavior management, a common mistake is that personal drinks and cell phones are placed in the workplace. It should be noted that personal items, drinks, or food are not allowed to appear in the workplace, and a special area for placement should be set up. Stipulated in education and training, the type of employee education and training can be the internal training conducted by the company's personnel, or the courses conducted by external training units, and relevant records should be kept. Food personnel must receive regular food safety, hygiene, and quality management health training from the competent health authorities or their accredited or commissioned relevant agencies, schools, or legal entities, and maintain records. The hygiene lectures and training hours can be found in the Food Hygiene and Safety Course Information Management System. Moving on to the prevention of food poisoning. To prevent food poisoning from happening, the principle of 5 do's and 2 don'ts should be kept in mind. The 5 do's are: wash your hands, make sure to clean both hands and bandage all wounds. Be fresh. The ingredients should be fresh, and water should be hygienic. Separate raw and cooked foods. The utensil of raw and cooked foods should be separated to avoid cross-contamination. Heat thoroughly. The temperature in the center of the food should exceed 70 degrees Celsius. Pay attention to storage temperature. The storage temperature should be maintained at -18 degrees Celsius and refrigerated below 7 degrees Celsius and above the freezing point. The two don't do's are: do not drink from mountain springs. Boil water from drinking. Avoid consuming directly from mountain springs. Do not consume unknown animals and plants. For unknown animal and plants, the principle of not obtaining nor eating should be followed. Please refer to pages 17 and 18 for the manual. According to the Food and Drug Administration regarding the FAQs of food poisoning, the temperature between 7 and 60 degrees Celsius is called the dangerous temperature zone, because many bacteria can grow and multiply rapidly in this temperature range. In terms of storage temperature, the hot storage temperature needs to be higher than 60 degrees Celsius, and the cold storage temperature needs to be lower than 7 degrees Celsius to prevent bacterial growth. It is recommended not to leave the food at room temperature for more than 2 hours after preparation, and not to leave it for more than 1 hour during summer times. The third management key point of the GHP guideline is the building facilities management, which mainly manages the environmental sanitation and the cleanliness of the workplace, as well as the labeling and record management, including key points such as environmental hygiene of business premises, toilets, hand washing facilities, waste management, disease-transmitting vectors control. The environmental hygiene of business premises, the management point that needs to be paid attention to are as follows. The walls and pillars and floors should be kept clean to avoid dirt, erosion, or standing water. Floors or ceilings should be kept clean to prevent the growth of mold, spalling, dust, dirt, or condensation. Moreover, the drainage system such as sewer drains should be completely unobstructed to avoid odors. Drainage ditches should be equipped with facilities to intercept solid waste, and facilities to prevent the intrusion of disease carriers should be set up. The interceptor and fume extraction system should be cleaned regularly to keep clean. The interceptor should be cleaned daily. Another common mistake is as shown in the left picture, where the water towers are not cleaned. The water towers should be regularly cleaned at least once per year, and records should be kept. One other common mistake is shown in the left picture of page 21 of the manual, where the fan is uncleaned. The correct improvement should look like the right picture shown. Lighting equipment and air conditioning systems such as air conditioners, fans should be regularly maintained and kept clean to avoid dust. The lighting light should exceed 100 candle light meters, and worktops or countertops should maintain over 200 candle lights. The light source used should not alter the color of the food. Entry and exit points, windows, doors, or other openings should be kept clean. Screen windows and screen doors, for example, are prone to dust accumulation and should be maintained and cleaned on a regular basis. In addition, attention should be paid to placing personal items in work areas. Personal items such as masks, drinks, clothes should be placed in a special area and managed in a unified manner. Livestock and pets should be controlled from entering the workplace with appropriate restriction measure. In addition, the wash basin of the toilet should be clearly marked with the words "Wash hands after using the toilet," and the door of the toilet must not open directly to the food workplace. However, this does not apply to those with buffer facilities and effective control of airflow to prevent pollution. In addition, the hand washing area should post a complete correct hand washing steps slogan in an obvious place. The correct hand washing steps are wet, wash, brush, rub, rinse, and dry. In addition to the correct hand washing steps, the work area should be equipped with clean washing supplies, such as hand sanitizer, washing equipment, hand towels, or hand drying equipment, and appropriate disinfection facilities such as alcohol, if necessary. In waste management, to prevent the breeding of disease-transmitting vectors, no waste piles should be placed in or near food premises. If waste is piled up in the food operation site as shown in the left picture, it is a mistake and should be corrected as shown in the right picture. In addition, trash cans and kitchen waste bins should be covered and cleaned regularly during non-operational hours, and should be placed where they will not contaminate food or clean utensils. If the food and beverage business waste needs to be reused, it should comply with the regulation for the reuse of common business waste and be delivered to a legal waste removal business. A contract should be signed and receipts should be retained. In disease-transmitting vectors control, entrances and exits and holes should have facilities to prevent the intrusion of disease-transmitting vectors, such as the installation of screen windows and doors, plastic curtains, automatic doors, air curtains, mosquito killer lamps, and the sealing of unnecessary external orifices. To manage and store pesticides and equipment for disinfecting the environment, such as brooms, mops, and other cleaning tools, a designated area should be created. The wrong way of management is shown in the left picture. The brooms are not placed in the fixed place. It should be improved as shown in the right picture, where the brooms are placed in a fixed area. In addition, there should be a regular maintenance of workplace disinfection, and documentation of disinfection should be kept, and the absence of disease-spreading vectors such as cockroaches and spider webs is a requirement. If a vector control company is invited to carry out the control work, the vector control documents and certificates should be kept, and the place, type of control, method, and drugs used should be indicated. The fourth management point of the GHP guidelines is the equipment and tools management. The main management principles are equipment such as a frying station or juicer, tools such as knives, cutting boards, spatulas, and surfaces that come into contact with food should all be kept clean, free of dents or cracks, and be protected from additional contamination. The dirty cutting board and the cracked wooden cutting board are both wrong examples. Also, another note to pay attention to is that utensils must be washed and effectively disinfected to keep them smooth and clean without stains, water stains, or mold, and they must be placed in designated cabinets. One other mistake is as shown in page 31 of the manual. In the left picture, the food is kept in the ice machine and the ice shovel is placed on the ice cubes. It should be improvised into only ice cubes or in the ice maker, and the ice shovel is stored in a designated area. Other examples of mistakes can be found in pages 29 to 31 of the manual. The fifth management point of GHP guidelines is that raw material management is mainly to manage the source of food materials and storage operations. The project includes purchasing and inspection, storage management, storage for chemicals, and food additives. When purchasing and accepting raw materials, a list of food suppliers should be established, so that when food with low quality is found, the source can be traced quickly. Purchasing and inspection is a raw material supplier list which should be established when purchasing raw materials. In addition to the supplier's name, the supplier's address, phone number, and purchase quantity must also be recorded. Documentation of the source of the ingredients, such as receipts, delivery orders, invoices which are sufficient to prove the source of the ingredients, should be kept for at least 5 years. In storage management, the temperature management should be paid extra attention. Regular temperature records should be kept in refrigerators. The temperature of the chilled food should be kept below 7 degrees Celsius and above the freezing point. The temperature of frozen food should be kept below -18 degrees Celsius. The fridge should be defrosted regularly. The store seal and fans should be cleaned frequently too. If the instant food in catering industry is stored at a temperature between 7 degrees Celsius and 60 degrees Celsius, it is recommended to consume it as soon as possible within 4 hours. In storage management, it is also necessary to pay attention to the classification and placement of food materials. Classify and place according to the characteristics of food materials, so as to avoid cross-contamination of raw and cooked foods, while maintaining cleanliness. For example, the soy sauce and miscellaneous items in the picture on the left are incorrectly placed together. They should be placed as the right picture. The storage of raw materials must comply with first in, first out and labeling management principles. First in, first out is when ingredients are purchased. Attention should be paid to their shelf life to avoid the occurrence of expired ingredients. The date of purchase can be marked on the outer packaging of the product, such as bottle cap and bottle body. If the ingredients or seasonings have exceeded their shelf life, they cannot be used or should not be placed in the working area. Labeling management refers to the food materials that should be properly stored and clearly marked. If it is packaged food, it is recommended to label its product name, date of repacking, date of purchase, or expiring date by the outside of the packaging. Date management can be based on the type of each business. Another common mistake in storage management is, in warehouses and workplaces, food materials should not be placed in direct contact with ground to prevent contamination. The ingredients in the picture on the left are not off the ground. It should be improved as shown in the picture on the right. Detergents and disinfectants should be stored in designated areas. Avoid placing them together with ingredients or seasonings, and label them clearly with their names and expiration date. In the picture on the left, the detergent is not stored in a designated area but is placed together with the ingredients. It should be improved as shown in the picture on the right. If the catering industry uses food additives such as MSG, baking soda, essence, they should abide by the 3 designated management and store them properly in special personnel, special books, and special counters, and the amount of scope of use must comply with regulations. The 6th management point of the GHP guidelines is the preparation and quality management, which is mainly the self-management operation in the business of industry. The project has 3 points including pre-processing and preparation, cooking operation, meal preparation, and serving. Attention should be paid to the process of pre-processing and preparation. The environment and equipment in the pre-processing work area must be kept clean, and ingredients should be thawed properly. The correct thawing methods include thaw in the fridge, flowing water thawing, and thaw on heat. For details on the correct thawing method, please refer to page 40 of the manual. Common mistakes in pre-processing and preparation process management are shown on the left. The ingredients are not completely covered. After improvement, it should be shown in the picture on the right. There should be sanitary facilities to protect raw and cooked foods from dust and insects, as well as effective separation to prevent cross-contamination. Another common mistake, as shown in the picture on the left, knives and cutting boards are not distinguished between raw and cooked foods. Knives and chopping boards should be specially designed for raw and cooked foods. To prevent cross-contamination, it is advised to use color markings to distinguish between knives and cutting boards that are specifically designated for raw and cooked foods. To prevent cross-contamination, the production process should oversee the handling of raw and cooked foods. It is important to practice good personal hygiene when sampling food so it does not contaminate the dishes. The ingredients in the left picture are not covered and stacked in with the vessels, which is a common mistake. It should be placed as the right picture. Frying oil should be replaced regularly. Replace the frying oil in the pan with fresh oil right away if it develops dark color, becomes sticky, smells rancid, has foam that covers more than half of the pot, or smokes even that at low temperatures. Keep a record of the locations where used oil is discharged and the time when new oil is replaced. If the total polar compound of the frying oil exceeds 25% and the color of the oil becomes darker and causes sticky stains, replace the new oil immediately so that the total polar substances in the frying oil are less than 25%. During meal preparation and serving, the dining area should be kept clean, and the finished meal should be recycled as soon as possible. The presentation of this chapter has come to an end. Please refer to pages 11 to 42 of the manual for further information of hygienic management of catering industries. Thank you all for listening.